Welcome everyone. Today we will explore how functions can be treated as objects and how decorators and Argparse can make our code more modular and more dynamic. In the last session, we learned about generators, the yield keyword, and generator expressions. In today's session, we are going to learn how to treat functions and objects. Then we'll learn how functions can be passed around to other functions like variables, how inner functions and closures work, and how decorators allow us to add extra behavior to functions without changing the code explicitly. Finally, we will use Argparse to make our Python scripts interactive via command line arguments. So first, understanding about functions as objects. So functions are also called as first class objects. This means we can assign them to variables, pass them into other functions, or even return the functions. So this forms the basis of decorators and closures. So let's say, for example, here the example we have. So here, if you observe closely, first what I'm doing is I'm assigning this particular function to a variable f. I'm passing this value, this message. Inside this function, what happens is this particular function is not called. So it will directly go to the return statement. When we go to the return statement, this return calls inner function. It calls this inner function where this particular print message is there. And this is how particular a function will work. So whenever once it returns this inner function, what happens is this f is now what is a function. So when I do f and round brackets, what happens is it goes and runs this inner function. Now it doesn't directly run inner function there because we returned here inner, not inner function with the round brackets. So this is how we passed a message and returned a function as a variable, and when this variable was just added here with two round brackets, this actually ran this particular inner function. So this is how this will look. You can see it prints message keep learning. And inner functions and closures, just to add more specificity to this. So inner function is simply a function defined inside another function. Inner function remembers values from its enclosing scope even after the outer execution is finished. So it forms a closure. So you can think of that when I passed a message to the outer function, and when I got return inner, so f still yield the value of message. Thus when I called f and round brackets, it even printed message and keep learning. So that is how the inner function remembers this particular values from its scope, and that's why it forms a closure. Then writing our own decorator. So decorators are higher order functions that wrap another function to modify or enhance its particular behavior. First, we will see how to manually write a decorator, and then how to write the decorator using a @decorator syntax. So, so let's define like a function uppercase decorator, which returns a function wrapper, which inside it like calls the function for the value and then returns its value in uppercase. So sorry. So how you can think the flow of is I will write decorator equal to uppercase decorator, pass in this greet function. So this greet function gets passed to this uppercase decorator and it returns a wrapper here. So now my decorated is equal to this wrapper, and when I call decorator with two round brackets, what happens is goes to the wrapper, then it goes to result equal to this function, and once it reaches this function with two round brackets calls this greet, which returns hello to the result variable. Then what we return here is return result dot upper. So this hello gets converted to uppercase, and what we will receive here is hello all in a capital letters. So you can see hello we received is in capital letters. The same kind of functionality can be implemented with the @decorator function, just that this makes the code more easier to read and maintain. So let's go and directly see its use case. So here what we'll do is uh, What we can write is uppercase decorator function, then the same function which we had earlier like this, return result dot upper. Here if you'll observe, instead of calling the function back, I can directly do function dot upper here. I did not call result and did this. Eventually I can have copied here that as well, but here I will directly return function call and dot upper, and I will return the wrapper. So, and here if you see, first I needed to call this uppercase decorator, then pass in the greet, and then whatever variable was generated, I called that particular variable. But when I use at the rate decorator, so what I need to do is at the rate, this particular uppercase decorator I will pass, and then I simply need to uh, call greet function only. I do not need to call uppercase and pass the greet function. I can simply like call the greet function, and it will automatically understand the idea of decorator and will use this decorator to further process our value. And if I just run this, this will fetch me good morning in capital letters. So this is how Decorators helps us eases our code and gives us more readability, that for this particular function I am having this decorator, and what this decorator does is already defined in this function which you can see. So this is how decorators work, but particularly using an at the rate decorator syntax. In the Argparse module. So Argparse lets us define what arguments our script accepts via the command line. It is great for automation, configuration, or scripts that take dynamic input every time from the users. So how you can use it is, you need to import Argparse as a library. It is pre-installed library. So you can define parser equal to Argparse dot argument parser description add to numbers. Then we need to pass parser dot add argument A. Then parser dot add argument B, that will also be type integer. Then args equal to this particular parser dot parse args, and then inside your function you can use args dot a, args dot b, like the way you want them to use. So now you can use this. See, if I just directly run this, what happens is it will work like this. The following arguments are required. So first I will comment all this down so this don't get printed. And when I want to run this, I can pass phi 3. So you can see the sum is 8. So after Python tutorial py, after you can simply pass two values which will be considered by the argparse library as A and B. And these args are stored here. So essentially, that is, you can see how it is stored. It is a namespace equal to 5 equal to 3, and when you do args.a, this 5 is fetched, args.b, this 3 is fetched, and then whatever your functionality is, so it sums here, so sum is equal to 8. So to summarize, we understand how Python treats our functions like objects, allowing us to build decorators. Now, an important thing about decorators is, let's say, like if you have doubts regarding where it could be used, it is not something like you want to simply just change the cases of your functions or something like that. What you can think is that, let's say you already had a function which does some functionality, and you have another function which does some other functionality. Now in some way those two are connected, and particularly you want to call that other function and use that as a decorator. So that is where decorators can come in handy. You do not need to combine or mix merge both the functions. You can somehow use decorators and would be able to get a result without changing the code for both the functions. And then at the end we see how argparse brings the user inputs into our scripts. In the next session, we'll explore type hints and the Pydantic, where we will see how to add type hints to our code and how Pydantic can enforce the validating structured data module, meaning whatever inputs we fetch, we can restrict the user to only add the input for integer or string. So yeah, thank you for joining today's session. Let's meet in the next session. Have a nice day.